being here with us today. We want to welcome all of our veterans, community members, the students and staff from both Washington High School and Bishop Newman High School to the 2018 Veterans Day program. At this time, if you are able, please stand in silence as we have the posting of our colors.
Reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the Star Spangled Banner.
Please be seated. World War I, known at the time as the Great War, officially ended when the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919, outside the town of Versailles. However, fighting ceased 7 months earlier when an armistice between the Allied nations and Germany went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. For that reason, November 11, 1918 is generally regarded as the end of the war to end all wars.
In November 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day, now known as Veterans Day, with the following words: "To us, in solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the things from which it has freed us, and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations." With these words, we honor our nation's veterans every November and remember the sacrifice they have given for our freedom.
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Herndon. I'm a junior here at Washington High School. I'm here today to tell you about my dad, who has served in the military for 20 years. He's often told me there is nothing else he would rather do with his life. The military has given us so many things to be thankful for, such such as going to camps with other kids who have military parents and being able to connect with them, moving here to Wahoo, and creating family memories that will last a lifetime. However, it hasn't always been easy. There have been some hardships due to my dad's service, including his deployment, going to school to further his training, and working weekends or late nights. Although he is home more now than when I was younger, there were long periods of time I wondered about seeing my dad. Yes, there were hard times, but I would not be who I am today without him being part of the military and going to school, helping to rebuild places, or going overseas. I've been part of the Wahoo community even before I moved here my 6th grade year. My dad was part of the 623rd Engineering Company and deployed in 2010 to Afghanistan. He left here from Wahoo High School, and I never wanted to return to Wahoo after that day because of the sad memories I have from this place. It was a hard time for my family and I. I knew what was going on, I just didn't know the severity of it until that day. There were so many people crying, it was not hard to cry yourself. My mom and I were crying amongst the mass of people who were there saying goodbye to their friends, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, and their loved ones. I knew my dad had no choice to stay or to go. He went because it is his duty to serve this country. That is one of the things I now admire about him. There were many times throughout that year when he was on tour that I was scared. I was scared I was never going to be able to hug him or hear his voice, but most of all, I was scared never seeing him again. We would Skype all the time as a family for as long as we could. There was one time when we were Skyping him, and he had to cut it short because there was something going on at the base. I didn't know what was going on until later. I found out that there was shooting at the base. That was probably the scariest moment throughout the whole year for me because in that moment I could have lost my dad. It's been 7 years since he came home from his tour. I still think back to those times to remind myself how lucky I am compared to other families in the military. Some kids don't have a mother or a father anymore, an aunt or an uncle, or they never met their grandparents. I'm lucky to be able to have my father with me today. That's why November 11th is a special place to me and my family. Veterans Day has a special place in my heart, not only because of my dad, but because of my history of having many family members serve this country. If someone were to ask me to describe what it means to me, I would simply say thankful. I am thankful for the service that my dad has done, thankful for the family members I never met, and thankful for everyone else who is serving in some branch of the military. Without them, we would not enjoy all the freedoms that we have today. One of those freedoms is voting in last Tuesday's election. We had 3 elections thanks to those who have served in the military. They have fought for all our rights, and we owe them a great deal of debt and gratitude. I've been with my father many times on Veterans Day, and when people come up to him to say thank you, it makes me happy that people know what they have done for this country. I've also seen it on an ordinary day, and that was one of the best things to see, because people are taking the time out of the day to respect those who lay their lives down for us. Finally, as we recognize Veterans Day today, the 100th anniversary of the armistice in World War I, I am thankful, and remember to be thankful. Go up and say thank you to someone in a uniform, or if you know the person and know that they're serving our country. Also, don't wait for one day a year to come around and say thank you. Say whenever you see someone in uniform or out of uniform. You never know what they have sacrificed for this country, and it always makes someone stay. I say this every day, but I want to say thank you, Dad, for being a big part of my life in more ways than one. Thank you, Sergeant First Class Christopher Herndon. Today, I have the honor of introducing today's Vets Day speaker, Sergeant Megan Likas. Sergeant Likas was born and raised in Fremont, Nebraska, attending Archbishop Bergen School. She enlisted in 2008 during her senior year of high school as a 35 Fox all-source intelligence analyst. For college, Sergeant Likas attended Midland University, receiving a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and psychology and an associate's degree in applied behavioral analysis. The National Guard has taken her all over the United States. She has served 2 state active duty missions, helping with local flooding and hurricane relief in 2017 when Hurricane Maria and Irma hit the U.S. Virgin Islands. Sergeant Likas was also deployed to northern Iraq in 2016-2017 for the liberation of Mosul from ISIS control. Please help me welcome Sergeant Megan Likas.
Good morning. My name is Sergeant Megan Likas, and I'm pleased to be here today in honor of this Veterans Day celebration. Ronald Reagan once stated that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day, we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. As President Reagan explains, originally freedom wasn't an inherited gift. It was fought for from generations long before and every generation thereafter. Our founding fathers believed in governing their own territory, representation for the people, by the people, and this is why they fought. Throughout generations, the threat to America has changed. From conventional warfare to insurgency to cybersecurity, our military has and continues to adapt to destroy the threat, no matter what form. Generations of men have deployed to war-torn countries to put an end to evil, so that others may have the most basic human right, the right to life. And this is why they fight. Every Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, and Coast Guard have a different story, a different mission and purpose, but all have one goal: to protect the United States of America from all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And generations of soldiers have relied on one another to make it through the darkest hour and find light. For their country and their brothers and sisters in arms, this is why they fight. The war on terrorism has helped us to realize how truly unique the American way of life is and how it continues to be threatened. In 2016, I deployed to northern Iraq. Our mission was to militarily defeat ISIS. Part of being an intelligence analyst is to be able to understand, know, and be able to predict the enemies of the United States. This meant studying all of ISIS's capabilities, to dissect every form of their propaganda, and be well-versed in their tactics, their techniques, and their procedures. Through their many forms of ISIS propaganda, they refer to Western culture as the ultimate evil, and the American citizens as dogs. Everything our American liberties constitute, educated women, women's rights, freedom of speech, and freedom of religion, goes against what ISIS believes in. And it is our soldiers that keep those threats stagnant. It is the men and women in our armed forces that keep that threat out of our backyards and off of U.S. soil. And this is why I fight. The decision to serve in our nation's military is not one for everyone. For me personally, it was a way to find adventure. My senior year in high school, I enlisted into the National Guard at the age of 18. For me, there had to be more outside of small town Fremont. I didn't know anything about the military, but I quickly learned that battle buddies were lifelong friends and NCOs fought the fight. And at 18 years old, I really had made the best decision of my life. The military had opened my eyes to pay attention to life and the little things, having a wholesome respect for human life, soaking up every single moment of a single phone call, and believing in myself in the high times and the low times. My choice to serve back then was for adventure, and I quickly found a bigger purpose on why I continue to do what I do, and I believe that every veteran does. This room is full of doctors, future doctors, nurses, educators, and future service members. And it is the freedom that we have that allows us the ability to choose our own path. For our American liberties and our continued ability to choose, this may be why some of you fight. Veterans Day isn't just a day for veterans. It's a day for all Americans. It's a day to remember why they fight and what they sacrifice. A day to remember where they have gone and what they have accomplished. And all for the freedoms and the liberties of America. From the soldiers who shivered and starved through the winters at Valley Forge to the doughboys crouched in the muddy trenches of France and the platoons who patrolled the hazy jungles of Vietnam, to the young men and women that are patrolling the mountains in Afghanistan. We remember and honor all of them. To the veterans past and present, thank you so much for your service. Ronald Reagan once said, "We will always remember, we will always be proud, we will always be prepared, so we will always be free." Thank you for honoring our veterans today, and thank you very much for having me.
As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is to not utter words, but to live by them. John F. Kennedy. Please stand at this time and join me in a moment of silence to remember and honor our veterans.
Okay, this concludes our program for this morning. Again, thank you for all the community members that were able to attend. Thank you for the veterans for coming here to be honored. We appreciate all the hard work that goes into this from both Bishop Newman and Wahoo Public High Schools in a joint effort. It's a wonderful, wonderful program that they put together with the schools coming together to do something to honor our veterans. Veterans, if you would stick around, we'll have a picture up here up front. At this time, I'm going to dismiss students, and we're going to start